Okay, welcome everyone. I'm so glad to be back with you and super excited that I have one of my favorite graduates of our program and a colleague of mine, Angelica Martin. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I want to share with everyone a little bit about your story of how you got involved with this work and share a little bit about how you use it for yourself personally and how you use it professionally as well. But first, like what brought you to this work of transpersonal energy healing?
I'm one of those cases that was in desperate need of it. Before I
Mm,
found the work, I was in a phase of my life where I was in um, a tricky time, like career wise. I didn't have a career um, that was very like laid out or established. I had kind of like left behind a career and I wanted to do something new. I was in a financially vulnerable place. I had ended a relationship, like just so many things at once. And I was really, really anxious and just always spinning out of control, trying to solve my problems. And it just got to be too much. And I knew I just needed to do something. And luckily, a practitioner and we connected at a meetup, and she demonstrated a little bit of transpersonal energy healing method with the group, and that's what got me hooked, and we started to work together one on one. And then I was so mesmerized by the work that I pursued training myself in transpersonal energy healing.
wow. So you have continued to, I know, because I know you, and so I know that you continue to use this work for yourself personally. Tell us a
Mm-hmm.
little bit about how is your life different now because of the work that you've done personally with transpersonal energy healing?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm laughing because I was actually thinking so much about my TEH concepts today. I'm like in a frame of mind where I'm seeing some of my patterns pop up that I've been through many times in my life, like some of my classic like patterns. And uh, like for those of you who don't know, a pattern is like our survival or defense physiology. It's the kind of thing that trips us up. It's like a circuit that we played over and over based on like our wounded self and our past. And so I was tripping over mine a lot today. And it was just, it really helps to diffuse it, to just be like, oh, there it is. There's that pattern. And um, unblending myself from it so I don't get consumed and I don't get dragged down into the spin outs like I used to before I even knew what TEH was and worked with that practitioner, my first practitioner. So that's
Mhm.
how I use it. It's just like it helps me to unblend myself from my thoughts and my overwhelm and my survival behaviors, and helps me get back to presence and understand that nothing is permanent and it's not who I am. It's just an experience I'm having, and to just be able to be more flexible that way, like moving through life, um, not as gripped
Mm,
by the patterns.
Oh, I love that way that you just explained it. Yeah, it reminds me of a client I had recently this week who has done a lot of trauma healing and been to a lot of different practitioners. And one of the concepts that I learned from Laura Fine and that I've used personally and with my clients a lot is the concept that there is part of us that's always okay, and that we don't have to wait till we're healed to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And no one had ever shared that concept with her. Like she has been through years of therapy and has a lot of trauma and a lot of physical issues that she's working on. And none of the other practitioners that she worked with ever even brought up the concept of being okay now, despite what's happening. And I think for me, that's the biggest gift of this work is that I have learned to be okay despite what is happening in the world around me, despite what's happening in my body. I can find a place, we call it the essential self in this work, call it whatever you want, but we can find that place in us and be okay despite the experience that we're having. And that sounds like what you were just describing.
Oh, yes, that's so well put. It's true. Like connecting to that innate sense of I'm okay and that I have this essential self somewhere enveloped in all of this survival physiology and all this messy humanness. I have this essential self. And yeah, I agree. Like the goal is not to like eradicate all of our traumas or our mistakes or our triggers. It's just to be able to like still connect with the essential part of us that is always okay no matter what is going on, no matter what state our nervous system is in, is so so important.
Right. And having that skill to tune into that part of us, what I have found is that the patterns start to kind of fall away. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like they aren't as loud, they're not as obnoxious, they're not as overpowering. Like the stronger part of me now is the essential self as opposed to the
Exactly.
wounded self. And that
Exactly.
I can be happy now, not later when my health is better, and not
Mhm,
later when I have more money or when I'm more settled, like, but right now I can
mhm,
be okay. And what a gift that is to be able to be present and be okay right now. And this is
mm,
the work that finally brought me there with some really simple skills. Like we always say it's not necessarily easy, but there are some very simple skills that
mm,
that we can learn,
mm,
and teach our clients to incorporate into their day-to-day life. And that's what I am hoping with this program that you've been through with us, to teach people these simple skills to make less suffering in the world, you know?
mhm. To connect that
Yeah,
I'm okay always. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So tell me how you use the work with your clients. Well, a little bit about what you're doing now. You've been
Mhm.
certified in this, and I know you use other modalities and you do other things, but share a little bit what you do now.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So the original way I applied the work was I was a health coach and I was really interested in functional medicine principles and coaching in terms of like practical advice for clients to improve their health status. And then I discovered just more and more that I wasn't that type of like that's not where my gifts are. Like my gifts aren't as much in like being a scientist or a problem solver, although I can. It's more in the intimate connection and building this safe bond with clients and facilitating being like the midwife of others healing. I found that that was so 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 deeply nourishing that I decided, okay, let's actually focus 100% on our on the healing side of things, the practice of healing with energy healing or other modalities to help them just feel better on the inside rather than addressing the body cues and symptoms and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I did make that change. And where I'm currently at is I have just, it took a while, but I've just gotten clear about how I want to bring my unique spin to this work. Because transpersonal energy healing is a very step by step method. It's been laid out for us so nicely by the late Laura Fine. It was her life's work, and she um, condensed it into a stepwise system that's teachable, learnable, repeatable, which is great. And now I realize that as a dancer, I'm a Middle Eastern dancer. It's like my biggest passion in life. I would love to incorporate dance into my practice so I can bring more somatic um, elements into my healing practice. And I'd like to do it especially with groups. I am very passionate and um, I really value building community. That's something that's very important to me. So I would really love to build my practice in that direction of incorporating this Middle Eastern dance and doing this in group settings and bringing TEH more in a group experience.
Mm. Oh, I can't wait to see as you unfold that dream and passion of yours. This work is it's so unique in that you can use it as a standalone thing and you can incorporate it into just about anything in all different types of healing modalities, but also in other businesses. And just any time that you are interacting with another human being, you can actually use these techniques. So I love hearing how people are using it, and how uniquely yours you can make this work.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I even decided I'm gonna call it Healing Hips. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, so everyone can stay tuned for that. I'm gonna be like sharing it online, so it'll be definitely a hips and like belly dancing focus type of work. I wanted to say workout just now, but I'll say dance lesson, and then we're going to drop into the healing and the depth psychology and the relational piece. And then we were going to blend the two, and we're going to use belly dance to help us naturally discharge and regulate our systems.
Mm. I love it. I love it. Well,
Me
our
too.
that'll be so fun. So what we're going to do is we are going to make sure that we put all of your information and your social media accounts down in the description box below so people can learn more about you. And of course, people got to see the chakra challenge,
Yeah.
all systems go warm up that you did. You were highlighted on day 4. So thank you so much for being part of our challenge. And I'm really proud to have you as one of our graduates and a member of our community, Angelica. Thank you so much for sharing how you're using the work. I know it's incredibly inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you so much for including me and for letting me bring my unique expression of the work to your community and for being the guardian of the work,
Mm.
carrying on the legacy.
Thanks so much. I'll see you soon in one of our membership calls, I'm sure. Thanks, Angelica.
Thanks, Kimberly.
Bye-bye.